today's live stream video, we're going to discuss the Reseller 12-step program to success. My friend and colleague Randy Fasick developed this program to help make us more successful and profitable resellers. So let's get started and bring my friend Randy on, and we shall get started, folks. Hello, sir.
Hi there. Hello, everybody. Whoever's out there.
We're out there in YouTube land. We have Lisa C. We have Mike Flippin' Goodies. We have Kristen the Rural Squirrel in the house.
All right.
So I'm sure the chat will be filling in. So, like I said, guys, in the introduction, Randy developed this program. He's been kind enough to share it with us, and we're going to get into like the meat and potatoes, as I'd like to say, and we're going to have Randy kind of talk about it and give us some examples of what he's been talking about since we started the program. So, why don't you start, sir, and let me know when you want me to bring up the slides.
Sure. Well, the first thing we started to do was we went over the clean the clutter. Okay, we cleaned the desk. We shared a few tricks and encouraged some people to basically get started, because if you're never going to get started, you're never going to accomplish anything. So, and I think it's, it's fairly important. I've seen people fail, and I've seen people, that really went to success. So, now we want to get in and we want to find out how everybody has done with it. Have you done anything with it? Have you cleaned off your desk? Okay. Because I don't want to just sit here and ramble on. I want to see that, we have made some accomplishments. And then I'm going to share a few slides with you on the next step. I mean, we're at number 7. We're more than halfway there. Let's see what we've accomplished. Anybody want to share anything?
Share in the chat, guys. You can share in the chat, and I also have the StreamYard link posted in the pinned comment at the top of the chat. So if any of you guys want to talk about some of the things that Randy recommended, you want to, again, you can put it in the chat and/or come join us for the live stream, or if you're watching the replay, obviously you can leave it in the comment section. So again, you have 3 options. So anybody wants to type their information in the chat now, we'll be glad to discuss it.
It looks like Mike's waiting for you to die off.
Not my business, your business. I guess you're going to give that to your family, though, not to a friend of yours.
It might be more of a headache than it's worth.
I think Lisa was talking about how she was trying to clean up her clutter. I'm pretty sure she was doing it, working on some stuff.
Yeah, put it up there on the bottom of the screen. So, I have a problem with this whole comment thing. I'm not too adept at using.
Yeah, I can share the comments. If anybody puts a comment up, I'll share it for you. Yeah. So, Lisa, did you want to leave a comment about how you worked on the program a little bit? How you've cleaned up your clutter and whatnot? I know it's not the program, not the selling program, whatnot. we're not going to get into whatnot today, because I know a lot of sellers are getting involved with the whatnot, but I don't want to get involved with whatnot. I've experienced.
Yeah,
there he is. There's Mr. Scott.
We're not here to judge anybody. So we're not going to ask for any pictures.
See the comment from Lisa?
Okay. Yes. That's a great start.
Is that a great start?
Yep. Believe me, my desk was a mess.
We have Mr. Scott in the house. Thanks for joining us, Scott. Here's a comment from Kristen. You're right. Being organized is key to success. I work in a small space and recently redid my storage situation to make it more efficient. Absolutely. Guys, I usually shout out Beth Reseller Rowboat, and Beth is like extremely organized, and she's all about reorganizing. And I was going to invite Beth. I said, well, Beth is clutter. She cleans it up. She doesn't need the program. She just does it naturally. But yeah, I mean, that's absolutely. And I mean, if you saw the clutter around here, I'm sorry.
It really makes things a whole lot easier. And now I can find things without even looking for them.
Right. See what Chris has to say here. Since everything that is new in a store has doubled in price, one is the price of used goods going to double. Yeah. As an aside, I did a little Retail arbitrage. I mentioned a couple people before that I have trouble doing retail arbitrage, and I know, Mike, I know you're not going to let out your golden goose, so to speak. You do some retail arbitrage that you sell at Walmart, but I've been going to Ross for years. I used to do pretty well with the ball caps, and it's a funny thing. And just as a side note, just because we're discussing reselling in general, plus the program, I have three hats that are Eagles hats, and they're not snapback. So I was talking to somebody that was selling, unfortunately, I know Scott's probably happy the Eagles didn't win the Super Bowl, but I wasn't happy. But anyway, a lot of these people had all these T-shirts and stuff they were selling related to the Super Bowl. So I saw a vendor. I said, maybe I could buy something, support a quote-unquote reseller. So I pulled up. The guy's prices were a little high. But anyway, I mentioned to the guy. I said, yeah, because I've had these. I tell them part-time on eBay. I said, unfortunately, I have some health issues. I do it, to keep myself busy. And I can't give away these hats. He goes, are they fitted? I said, yeah. He goes, oh, these kids don't want fitted hat. They would all want the snapback hats. I said, well, I wish I would have known that when I bought them. But anyway, I've had a lot of difficulty doing retail arbitrage. So, Randy, are you can you see in the future? when are you going to double in price?
Well, you know what? Actually, it has, but I think most people don't realize that they are the goods being sold, right, not the items they're selling. They're the merchandise. So the price of you has doubled. It's just that you're not going to see any money from it.
We have Todd the Silver Stacker, and we also have Kimmy in the house. Good to see you, Kimmy. Always good to see you. I'm a big fan of yours. Okay, sir. So we discussed it. Basically, some people have started cleaning the clutter.
Okay. Am I going to start or are you going to start? It doesn't matter.
You go. You start.
Okay. Yeah, we did. We talked about cleaning the clutter, but there's a few areas that we didn't talk about. And the next area that we need to clean up the clutter is on our store. Okay. Now I'm going to use eBay as an example, probably because most people in the chat are more familiar with eBay than they are with some of the other channels out there, such as Walmart. So you want to put up the first thing.
Sure.
Okay. This is a listing. All right. Now, let me ask you this question.
I'm going to make it full screen so that the people can see it a little bit better.
Sure.
Okay.
What is wrong with this listing?
Guys, if you want to comment in the chat, what do you think is wrong with this listing? I noticed one thing, and Randy informed me there were several things, but I did notice one thing. So if you want to comment in the chat and just group participation today. Haven't done a live stream in a while, so we need some group participation. Guys, what do you think the problem is with this listing is? There's
no wrong answer. There's probably some answers that I haven't seen.
Right, just spitball some answers in the chat, if you will, folks. I spotted one thing, and Randy named a few things. I guess people don't want to comment. There we go. I know there's a little stock photos, Mike says.
Yeah, it's one.
Photo. That was the other thing, just the one photo. Correct, Randy?
Correct.
It was only one, and it was a stock photo.
Well, you know what? I'm not going to drag it out. Put the next one up, and I'll show you some of the things that I found the problem. Okay. It only has one pick. It's a stock pick, and it's not necessarily in focus. Okay. Look at the title. LA Girl Gel Glow Gel-like Nail Polish. Okay. Now it's either gel or it's not. Like an Amish guy told me, hey, you're either Amish or you're not. Okay, so getting rid of the gel-like, that's like buying a Gucci-like bag. Okay, it's either a Gucci bag
or it's not. Right.
All right, so that needed to go. The next thing, the price. Actually, the price is the only thing there that's kind of right. A lot of people put $7.99. Well, then you become like everybody else, and you kind of blend in. All right. The next thing is make an offer. Do you really want to give an offer, available to somebody who's not even willing to pay $8 for an item with free shipping? No, all you're going to do is irritate people. All
and
right.
you irritate the sellers too. I was sharing with Randy earlier. I had some listings up, and I ran a 20% off sale, and my prices were competitive prior to the sale with pretty much everyone that was selling that item. And I knocked 20% off. I was getting lowball offers, $4 or $5, $6 less after I already took 20% off. So I actually messaged these people. I was perturbed. I did it in a nice way, but basically I said, yeah, unfortunately I'm giving you free shipping and I'm paying fees and I had to purchase the product. So unfortunately at 20% off, I can't give you an additional discount. Thank you for your interest. So, yeah. Probably wasn't the right Beth, Reseller Robot, are probably watching this like, Adam, you don't do that, but that's what I did.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Randy, go ahead.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with using a stock photo if you're an authorized seller of the product and you have permission from the manufacturer and the owner of that stock photo. Okay. Otherwise, take your own pictures. All right, next slide. All right, this cleaned it up a little bit. Okay, you notice that make an offer is not there. If you want to give somebody a discount, the best way to do it is make them buy more. You know what? $8 is not a whole lot of money to give up when you're paying the shipping. Okay, I added 4 more photos to this, which really there should be 6 photos altogether, but there's only 5.
You're saying a minimum of 6 photos is what you recommend.
Right. I took off the extra word gel-like because it just sounded stupid. Okay. And by adding that bulk buy 1, 2, or 3 and get money off, that added that little part up there that save up to 5% when you buy more.
What's nice about that too is that's a replenishable, and you could probably ship 3 of these as inexpensively as shipping 1, correct? Because they're light, they're nail polish, so you would save on the shipping if they bought multiples.
Right. The added shipping cost is
negligible.
Near
right.
The cost of shipping 3 individuals.
Right.
Okay. Now there's one thing that you didn't see, and that with those photos, I added the UPC code in the description of the photo. Okay. That helps Google pick it up, and it will tend to give you a whole lot more, visits to your site.
So, folks, that's a great tip that Randy has told me as well. If you have the UPC, something that comes with the UPC, make sure you include that in a picture because that helps with the Google search algorithm.
Okay, I mean, you notice that it has a white background, it's facing forward. If you're going to face it in an angle, you want to face the angle toward the listing itself, because that will
angle it toward the listing, right? Mm-hmm.
That will draw your eye. Okay.
Don't have the picture angling away from the verbiage. Have it angling towards the verbiage.
Yeah, it's kind of like having a conversation with somebody and they're looking in the other direction.
Correct. Okay. Next slide.
Yeah. Okay. This one is not what's wrong with you. This is what's wrong. Do you really think? Okay, because I think these ad rates are nonsense. Okay, you really want to give up 7% on a $7 item with paying the shipping, okay, adding all the other fees involved. Are you going to make any money? Or, is this a charity? I think that's nonsense. And that's just my opinion. So you can take it or leave it. I know that some people say, well, I do 2% over what's suggested. You know what? I can refresh that ad and find the suggested ad rate is different. I could virtually copy that ad, do another ad, and the suggested rates will not be the same. They could be as much as 8% off in either direction. So if you think that that's, if you think it's working for you, fine. You can give your money away.
Well, the other tip too is, and that Mike was discussing this on his show, guys. And if you're not subscribed to Mike's channel, Flipping Goodies, make sure you do that. Mike has some great information. He has a live stream every Sunday. It's usually on his channel and or Scott's channel. But we were talking in the chat, and he was discussing when you list something new to begin with, you get that bump automatically as a new listing. So eBay promotes it without doing the promoted listing. So Mike may know better than I. I don't know the exact how long that runs. I'm sure people have done research, but I'm assuming it's probably for at least 48 hours. And then I know, Lisa, I think you and I have discussed this as well. So then after the 48 hours, then you can do your promoted listing. There's no need to do it the first 48 hours or so.
Agreed. Next slide. All right. Actually, the picture that Adam didn't get is when what I see most people is just that part there that says item description from the seller, which is pretty much they copy the LA Girl Gel Glow Nail Polish, and that's about how big it is, as big as the item description. Now, I added in a logo just to make it look a little different. I colored the letters, and I made them, actually they're supposed to be 26 point, I think, or 24 point. And I put the vamp blood in bold letters. But that's still really not enough. That's about as simple as you want to get, but at least it'll make it stand out a little bit more till we get to the next slide.
Okay, let me just interrupt you for 1 second. Guys, if you're watching this series, and please do so, there are 6 videos prior to this one. And the last video, Randy talked about having a professional logo done. So I just wanted to bring to your attention, this is the professional logo that Randy had done on Fiverr. So that's in the last video. So I just want to bring that to your attention.
Cost me a big $10. Okay, the other one is just a description. Okay, what I did there was this description was only in 2 lines, and it spread across the whole page, and it really didn't look good. So I cut it down so that it kind of looks almost like a little pyramid, but at least it has some more visual cachet to it. And the next one, the next slide is pretty much just another embellishment that I added.
Give me 1 second here.
Come on, Adam, wake up, wake up.
No, I'm trying to multitask here.
Okay, there we put actually a photograph of the item back end, and that's really just to enhance and make the listing stand out, because there is a difference when you pull up your ad and look at it, and somebody else pulls up your ad and looks at it. Because when you pull up your ad, you don't see all the other ads that are on there advertising the same thing that you're trying to sell, but they do. I've seen it up to 70 some images of sale products that were exactly the same on somebody's site. I don't know if you got a chance to look at that, Adam.
I'm sorry?
Come on, Adam, wake up, wake up.
I'm here. You were saying chance to look at what?
The difference between when you look at your ad and somebody else looks at
no, I didn't go in as anonymous. No, I did your other homework. I did your other homework assignment, though.
But if you go in and look at other people's listings, if you don't buy on eBay, but if you do, you probably have seen it, where there's 30 or 40 up this, I don't know how many, because I really don't look at that many ads, but I know there's a lot, and it could be a good reason why your sales are down, because you've got competitors all over the place. So by making your space on that page a little bit more coverage, you're going to limit the amount of people they can actually put on that page. And therefore, enhance your sales. Plus, maybe you don't think this looks better, but I do.
Absolutely.
I think it builds confidence in the buyer.
And I'm getting our pre-show conversation confused with this conversation. Did you mention too about the red? I know you said the font was bigger, but did you mention about the red popping that out? Makes it pop out.
I added, like I don't know what you call it, a raspberry, a plum.
Right.
Some of the color to basically make it also stand out.
Stands out, grabs your attention, right?
Because every other ad in there, it basically has just kind of basic lettering. And so this makes yours stand out. And, it should get you some results.
So what were your results on this particular item? And as far as when you change these things and change, your pictures, and I know you do multiple pictures, but did you edit this listing, or is this how you originally listed that?
I did this 2 or 3 days ago.
Okay, gotcha.
So, and I really haven't looked at it since then.
Okay, so you didn't edit your listing. This is how your original listing was. You looked. I think you're telling me you're looking at other listings. And why don't you share with the people too that you said make sure you look at listings that are selling, that have multiple reviews. If you're going to copy their procedures, how they do things.
Yeah, from back in that page. I mean, I copied a page that had no, when you put in "sell this thing,"
right?
I'm not exactly sure what it says, but I didn't really look at the way I usually do it. I wanted to have something that was kind of more of a bad example. So I copied somebody who had no reviews, and you don't want to copy somebody that has bad reviews either.
Right.
So if you get somebody up there, you really want to look at who's the guy that's up in the top and who is the guy that has a bunch of good reviews of the product, because those reviews actually do represent the possibility of selling it better than no reviews at all.
And the theory is you want to look at active listings and solds, but I always look at the sold listings too, because I figure, well, maybe something they did with their listing, how they designed it, how they titled it, maybe that's helping selling. So if I see something, the same item I'm selling with a lot of sales, that I kind of use their, sell similar to what they're doing. I might adapt it to how I do things, but I kind of use maybe their same title or something. I'm sure that something that you probably would do as well, right?
I mean, this is at least one way that you can start to clean up your store by cleaning up some of the listings. The other way you can clean it up is get rid of some of the crap.
True.
There's stuff that really has no value. Nobody's been looking at it. It has no views. It has no interest. I've heard from some people, they had items that just sold after 4 years. Well, you know what? I don't want to wait 4 years to get my money back.
True.
My money's a little bit more important than that. I think you probably would have been better to donate it to Goodwill and take a deduction for it when you consider all the costs that you've incurred over the last 4 years, not only in fees from eBay, but fees in storing your item, because there is storage involved with everything. I mean, that's the reason why people send things to liquidation.
True.
It's not because it'll never sell. It's basically, we can make more money selling what people want than selling what people don't want.
Why don't you share with the people a little bit from your grocery store experience? And I thought this was a great analogy about the warehouses now in grocery stores. Why don't you share with that the people in the chat?
Well, the back rooms in the grocery stores at one time were filled with products, so that
they were huge. Yeah.
When things ran out on the shelf, they could actually put them out. Now they're pretty much empty, and they rarely take up any part of the store's actual space. And if you even if you go into a store and look at the shelves, you'll find there's very little airspace between one shelf and the next. You'll notice that everything is basically fronted up so you can see it. It's facing you. It's not just thrown up there. There's a lot of care that's taken. And my wife said, I wish stores would stop irritating me by doing resets all the time. And that sounds good, but it's really not true. They're not doing it to irritate you. It's just that your section of hot chocolate is not going to be 93 items in the middle of summer. It's going to be instant drinks, instant lemonade, which is not going to be in the wintertime.
Right.
And there are continual changes and things that they're getting rid of and things they're bringing in new. And the
And
store,
there's new vendors, and they're paying for shelf placement, so that changes as well.
well, yeah, and most people don't realize that
They don't understand that that's behind the scenes, but yeah,
the average store with all the products you see in there only really has 4 vendors.
that's incredible. You told me that. Yeah, we don't want to get too deep in that, but I just thought I would share that about the warehouse, because we talked about cleaning the clutter and how many people have storage units and how many resellers have even more storage units, and that's cost. I mean, it's when you have a storage unit, it adds to your cost of the product, because you have to pay a fee to have that storage unit and store your product.
Plus, you really can't keep control of 20 or 30,000 items.
No.
Supermarkets realize that too.
Right.
Supermarkets don't have one person buying. Okay, they have multiple buyers. Maybe one person is a beverage buyer and they do buy coffee and they buy sodas, and one person is a frozen food buyer, and one person is the dairy buyer, and one person is the produce buyer. They all basically maintain different areas so that they can keep control of it, because otherwise it would just get out of hand.
Right. I don't know if I'll interrupt you for 1 second. I don't know if Craig Landshark Picker's still in the chat, but Craig, you might want to refresh my memory. You had made a comment once, and I don't know if it was in one of my live streams or one of your live streams, but you said something to the effect, and again, if you're in the chat, just if you can pop it in there. You said something, in order to have a good store, you need good listings, you need good product, very good descriptions, very good titles, and saleable items, and great prices. If you don't have all those things, you're not going to do well. If you have great prices, but you have something that doesn't sell, or you have a bad title and people can't find it, it's kind of like a catch-22. So, Craig, if you're in there, I'm sure I'm paraphrasing what you wrote, but if you can put that in. What has Mike has to say? Shelf space in our house costs you money too. Yeah, it's true. Shelf space addition it's taking up space in your house. And I mean, I'm sure. I know back in the day, I never claimed when I was in outside sales, I never claimed office in-house office. But I mean, some people do. But I mean, if you have a reselling business, obviously you're storing things in your home, and that's part of your business costs. I'm sure if you have a good accountant like this guy that does all the resellers, I'm sure he would say, oh yeah, you can write off part of your part of your utilities, part of this, part of the other thing. But yeah, it's a cost involved. Absolutely, Mike.
And I think the cost is a lot more than people realize.
Right.
There's a lot of costs that really are just not taken into account.
I want to share this too about Lisa had posted earlier. I didn't want to interrupt you about the provided listings. Now, and everyone's a little bit different, Lisa, and I agree with you. I have a friend that does exactly what you do. He lists low to high, including shipping. So Lisa says promoted doesn't help with buyers like me. When I buy, I always sort by price, low to high. Like I said, my friend does that. I was talking to Randy earlier. My friend's kind of like the pricing eBay whisperer. Long story short, I had an oil change. I'll share some personal stuff with that. Tell you guys, I was at Pep Boys for over 2 hours to get an oil change with an appointment. Of course, they want to sell you add-ons. They want to sell me, an air filter. So, but anyway, yeah. So I ended up buying it online through eBay, And I priced things down. My friend helped me and whatever, and we did some research. And Randy had the multiple quantity discounts, but this was significant. This was a $45 item that I ended up getting for like $36 or $37 because I bought 5 of them. Now, granted, it's going to take me 5 years to use them, but like Randy says, they had the quantity discount. They didn't have best offer. They had a quantity discount: buy 1, buy 2, buy 3, buy 4, buy 5. So that obviously advantages to that. I'm sorry, Randy. Go ahead.
You don't have to put out everything that is good in your ad all at one time. Okay. First of all, there is no reason in the beginning to put in promoted listings. Okay. Whether you're going to do 2% or whether you can do 80%. Okay. Because your listing is going to show up.
Right, like we said that earlier, you get a natural permitted listing because it's a new listing. Probably, I'm assuming for about 48 hours. Mike, you might know better than I.
Yeah, I'm not sure how long that lasts. I think it'll last even longer depending on how sales work for it.
Right.
Okay, so you don't want to overprice your item,
True.
but you don't want to underprice it either and leave money on the table.
Right.
All right. You can lower the price later. Okay. When you lower the price, people who look at it end up getting an email and say, "Oh, that item."
That's the other thing. Like I said, Mike with him shuffling his listings too. That's true. If you lower the price, they send out, especially if people watched it or clicked on it, eBay knows it and they track it. And they'll send you out a notice. Oh, you're interested in this item. The price is lower. Absolutely, I get that on things I favorite or I look at. I get notifications when the price is going down.
So there's plenty of tricks that you learn along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Absolutely.
But this whole thing is about cleaning it up. Okay, getting rid of the junk. All right, donate it, throw it away, whatever. All it's doing is holding you back.
Right.
All right, you don't want to be held back. It's like trying to drive with the handbrake on. Okay.
Get it listed. Give it to Goodwill or put it in the garbage.
That's right.
3 G's.
Yep. Last one is gone. You want it gone.
Gone. You want it gone. Absolutely. Okay, sir. Do you want to go into the next one?
Well, the next one, is
you can talk about it if you want to talk about it before I pull it up. Or you want me to pull it up?
The next one is one that you really don't think about a whole lot, but really you do think about it a whole lot. You just don't realize it. Okay, and you can put it up there. It's clear in your head. You ever have those nights when things just keep rambling and you're trying to get to sleep and you go, "Oh my goodness, I'm thinking about washing the floor and I'm thinking about the bill that I didn't pay and the email I didn't answer," and you just keep rolling around, and all of a sudden it's 6 o'clock in the morning and you're going to have to get up in another hour and finally get to sleep and the alarm clock rings and you didn't get any sleep. So you're not even with it for the rest of the day. Well, you know what? Your whole day can go like that. So I wrote down some things and some tricks to kind of get a healthy space in your brain so you can actually do some work. Now, on number 4, I put down turn on some tunes, but not with the words, because if you're singing along to your favorite song, you're really not concentrating on what you're doing.
Right. You can make mistakes.
Okay. I mean, you can take breaks during the day. Take a nap for 15 minutes.
Hit the hay. Take a nap.
Don't take a long nap or you're not going to want to get up. But, of course, tidying up and cleaning up your space so that you can, that's really an important part of it too. But that's really all kind of what we're talking about. And, taking a step back is just like if you stick your hand up to your face, you really can't see your hand if your hand is touching your nose. You got to move it out a couple of inches to say, hey, that's my hand.
Okay.
Okay. You know what? It could be anything.
Right.
I mean, obviously, it's your hand, but okay. And talk it out. Sometimes an accountability person, somebody you can call up and go, hey, you know what? I just got this shitty return. And, these people treated me like I was a scumbag. And, I used to tell my drivers, I said, you know what? Some of the most awful people are receivers at grocery stores. But you know what? They're your customer. You want to cuss them out? Go out in the van, close the doors, and scream at them like you
Yeah.
wanted to.
Yeah, just
Okay.
don't talk them that way, right?
Yeah. Then just go merrily back in, and
Right.
believe me, it works.
Because if
I
you
know.
lose a customer, you lose business. They're gonna lose business, and they might not have a job after that.
Yeah. So you know what? Don't answer angry emails right away.
Yeah, you told me
Give yourself time to cool off.
exactly. Cool off before you answer them. That's another great tip.
Sometimes those angry emails are people who want to do business with you and they're just disappointed. And sometimes those angry emails, they're absolutely right and you were absolutely wrong.
Yeah, you've shared with me a few examples of people that made comments, and after you thought about it, it's like they have a good point. I should change that or do this.
I had a lady one time sent me the nastiest email on earth. Okay. Nastiest one I had ever gotten up to that point. And she said, I tried your coffee and it didn't have any taste. Well, there was more flavoring in the bag. I should have ground the bag up and thrown the coffee away. And I was really irritated. And then I realized she was absolutely right. Because the manufacturer who made my bags on the inside, instead of putting the right material, put it something that acted like a blotter, and it basically blotted up all the flavoring.
All the flavoring
Okay,
from the coffee. Yep.
so she did have regular coffee. The flavoring was in the bag, and
She
she
had a valid
saved
point. She was
me.
nasty, but she had a valid point.
Yeah, she saved me an awful lot of money
Yep.
because I was able to go back to the bag company. And that time in my life, we were buying bags by the millions. Okay, so we were able to send all those back and have them remanufactured at no cost because we weren't the ones who put the wrong liner in the bags.
Plus, you probably would have had more returns, and people might not even say anything. They might just try to say, "Oh, this coffee's terrible," and never bought it again.
Yeah, we could have virtually lost our whole business.
Yeah.
So sometimes those nasty letters will save your business.
Right.
You just need time to cool off to be able to see them. You can't see through smoke, and when you're angry, it's like looking through smoke.
Right.
So complaints are not always a bad thing. Look at complaints as an opportunity to do better.
I want to share with something that you share with me on our pre-chat, and we're always trying to make. One of my favorite quotes is, "Anything that's permanent is change," and just kind of related to what you were just discussing. Why don't you share with the folks your Albert Einstein, the first day of class story?
Yeah, Albert Einstein actually got a job as a math teacher, and so he started to write on the board. 1 plus 1 is 2, and 2 plus 2 is 4, and 4 plus 4 is 8. Okay, and when he got up to 10, he put 10 plus 10 is 21.
10 plus 10 is 21.
So the whole class laughed, and he said, I noticed that you all laughed, but I noticed that for 9 of these equations, you had nothing to say. But on the 10th equation, you pointed out what I did wrong. Well, there is one person who never does anything wrong. That's the person who never does anything.
Absolutely.
The whole class was quiet.
So that's what I want to bring up, and you brought that up in the series. You know, again, you know how folks that watch me know I like quotes. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. You're going to make mistakes. You know, we're human. We're going to make mistakes, but you have to adapt. You have to change. So maybe you try something different. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, adapt. I mean, like, you know, we're talking about these promoted listings and, you know, doing this and not doing that, and, you know, using the logo, and, you know, make sure you have plenty of pictures. So, you know, switch things up, make your store more professional. And you had mentioned to me something about making sure your store is clear and concise and organized. And you also said your brain too is another thing that needs to be organized, clear, and concise. I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what you told me.
Yeah, it's so easy to get distracted.
Right.
I mean, it happens to all of us.
Right.
You know, we start one thing and then we're off on a rabbit trail to something else, and all of a sudden we're listening to a song and we're off with Alice in Wonderland and
right.
You know,
Neverland,
Rabbit and the
right.
Jefferson Airplane, and
right.
You know, we forgot. Well, what the heck did we list?
Right.
You know, it's good to take some time, and it's also good not to put yourself under stress. Okay, take some time off. You know what? I know it gets tedious and monotonous to do one single thing. I spent a day and I tried to keep my mind at it, and I was able to list 800 items. But that's not my average day. That was a one-time thing. You know,
Right.
I try to put things in piles that are accomplishable. Okay, I want to accomplish.
Set accomplishable goals. Yep.
Okay, put piles of 10. So you say, well, that's not really a whole lot. Well, okay, maybe one day you'll only get through with 10, but at least you've accomplished it. Maybe you'll get through with 3 boxes and do 30 of them. Okay, that way you accomplished more than what you had expected, and you feel even better about yourself.
You need to chip away at that decluttering and organizing your work area, getting things listed from your cash pile. You know, Rome wasn't built in a day. There's another quote for you. And the only way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time. But make progress and reward, like Randy was saying, reward yourself when you make progress. Maybe go out for a walk. You know, maybe, you know, you take your dog for a walk, and maybe you love your dog and take your dog out for a walk. Or like Randy says, maybe treat yourself to a snack, or treat yourself to a sandwich or something. But don't get caught up and, you know, take that short 15, 20-minute break and then get back to work.
I mean, I'm fortunate here because everybody here delivers.
Right.
Everybody. You know, and most people actually deliver here free, you know, which is great. I mean, if I want something from Wawa, I call them up and they deliver it to my door, and it's free delivery at least. And it's not free for the product. But if I want coffee from Starbucks, they'll deliver it free. I'm not necessarily a fan of Starbucks, but some of the coffee is palatable and good.
Just out of curiosity, folks, are there any comments in the chat? Any questions for Randy? Just for those of you that know me, I know that there's not a lot of people in the chat right now, but hopefully people are watching the replay. The reason I've been doing live streams is having a lot of health issues. I don't really want to get into details, but Randy's been kind enough to help me with this series, and Randy suggested we go live on this version, so I appreciate it. I want to thank Randy for his help and his kindness, and it's just not helping me; it's to help you guys as well. And like Randy said in one of his earlier videos, he doesn't have any Patreon group. He doesn't have any affiliate links. Although I do have Randy's link. You can buy things from Randy's store. You can check out his store, and if you want, just check out his store, see how he lists things. You know, that's great too. I mean, it's in the description section of this video. But you know, so anyway, he's not getting paid for this. He's doing this out of the goodness of the heart, trying to help me become more successful, as well as you guys become more successful. So were there any questions for Randy while we have Randy on live? I would like to know if there are any questions. We'll handle those. In the meantime, while I'm waiting for those questions to come in, I just want to remind you guys, if you're still here or you're watching a replay, please just remember to like the video, smash that thumbs up. And if you find reseller content interesting, you might want to consider subscribing. And even better yet, share the video. It helps with the algorithm. So, were there any comments for Randy while we have Randy live? Guys, let me know if you have any questions or comments for Randy. I know there's a little bit of a lag, so we'll give that a few seconds. Randy, was there any closing comments you wanted to make?
Well, you know what? I think it's a good thing to, declutter yourself in more areas than just reselling.
Right.
It's nice to have a simple life. We can clutter up our whole lives with all kinds of things. And things, life doesn't consist of the abundance of things. I don't know who said that. I didn't. But, it certainly is true.
Absolutely.
I've had times when I've had extreme wealth. I mean, I owned a Mercedes. I owned 3 Mercedes-Benz and a Rolls Royce at one time. And you know what was the worst thing about all of it? Maintaining them. The cost of maintaining them was crazy when you consider I'm one person with 4 cars. I can only drive one at a time. You
drive one at a time. Yeah, I knew where you're going with that.
Okay, so, gathering things are nowhere near as important as relationships. Relationships are forever. Things really just rust and fade away. And no matter how good of a car you buy, it's going to rust and fade away.
Absolutely. Okay, well, Lisa, I don't know if you see Lisa's comment there. She said she wanted to thank you. She appreciates you, Randy, for sharing your knowledge.
I appreciate everybody who joined in. It's one thing to have knowledge, and it's good, but if you don't have anybody to share it with and anybody to make their life better, you really haven't accomplished a whole lot. I never want to be a selfish person. I find more joy in giving and helping other people out than I do at taking advantage of them and making merchandise of them. That's just not a thing that I really like to do. I'm glad. I had a guy who came to me years ago, and he was telling me his vision of his company, and I said, here's some things you ought to try, and that's up to you whether you want to try them or not. Today he's a Fortune 500 company, and he was a competitor basically. But I'll tell you what, if I ever call him up and I need something, I know he's there for me.
Absolutely. Okay, guys. On that note, thank you for being here, and for those of you watching a replay, if you're following the series and you're doing some things and the series has helped you, please leave a comment. Randy and I appreciate you guys if you leave a comment in the comment section of the video. We appreciate knowing that this is helping some other resellers. On that note, guys, take care. Have a great night.